Has this ever happened in your life due to overthinking? You want to do something, but your mind fills with doubts? You replay the worst-case scenarios again and again until you do nothing. Alara lived in the small town of Briarwood, a quiet place where dreams were whispered and rarely shouted. Ever since she was a child, she had loved to write. Her notebooks were full of poems and stories that danced with magic and hope. But as she grew older, a heavy fog of overthinking crept in. Every idea was met with a barrage of doubts. What if it isn't good enough? What if people laugh? These thoughts kept her pen still and her stories locked away. Each morning, Alara woke to the same routine. She brewed a weak cup of tea, sat by her window, and stared at the blank page in her favorite notebook. While the world outside bustled with life, she remained imprisoned by her mind. Day after day, she planned to write something bold, a story that could change her life. But then her fears would overpower her determination, and the day would slip away. One bright spring afternoon, as Alara walked through the market square, she paused by a small stage where a traveling bard performed. The bard's voice was clear and fearless as he recited a tale of heroes and miracles. His eyes shone with conviction, and his words cut through the crowd's chatter. For a brief moment, Alara felt a stirring inside, a spark that reminded her of the writer she once was. After the performance, while the crowd slowly dispersed, Alara gathered her courage and approached the bard. He introduced himself as Alaric, a wanderer who had seen many lands and countless stories. Sensing her hesitation, Alaric said, "I once let my mind hold me back too. I learned that every great journey begins with a single step. Don't let your thoughts chain you. Let your heart guide you." Those words echoed in Alara's mind long after she returned home. That night, beneath the soft glow of a candle, she opened her notebook. That night, beneath the soft glow of a candle, she opened her notebook. A small, unremarkable thought. It wasn't her masterpiece. It was just a beginning. The next morning, Alara promised herself that she would take one small action each day, no matter how insignificant it seemed. On Monday, she wrote a single line. On Tuesday, she scribbled a short paragraph. On Wednesday, she dared to write a full page, sharing a memory from her childhood. Each day, the act of writing became easier, and the doubts began to shrink. Soon, her words took on a life of their own. Her small daily writings formed a collection of thoughts and feelings that, together, started to weave a story of transformation. At the local cafe, friends discussed a mysterious little booklet that had started circulating among them, filled with simple, heartfelt stories. Though they didn't know the author, the words resonated with hope and raw truth. Encouraged by the quiet praise from strangers, Alara took another brave step. She visited the town scribe, an old woman named Beatrice, known for her wisdom and gentle smile. "I've read your little booklet," Beatrice said. "There is honesty in your words, a spark that is rare these days. Would you consider sharing more of your story with the town?" Alara's heart pounded. Sharing her work publicly was her biggest fear, but she remembered Alaric's words and all the small steps that had already changed her. "Yes," she whispered, "I will." The town decided to host a small reading in the village square. On a cool evening with lanterns hanging from the trees and soft music in the background, Alara stood before a modest crowd. Her hands trembled as she held her worn notebook, but her eyes shone with determination. She read aloud her journey, the quiet struggle against overthinking, the battle with self-doubt, and the slow, steady steps toward freedom. With every word, she felt a weight lift from her chest. The response was gentle yet powerful. The crowd listened in silence, then erupted in heartfelt applause. Strangers approached her afterward, sharing that her story had touched them deeply. Many confessed they, too, had been held captive by their own thoughts, and that hearing her truth gave them the courage to try something new. As days turned into weeks, Ilara's journey inspired others in Briarwood. Neighbors started writing in their own notebooks. The local school began an after-school creative writing club. And even the town's elders took up the habit of jotting down memories and lessons learned over a lifetime. Briarwood was changing, not through grand events or dramatic shifts at Zrenia, but through small, consistent actions that echoed with the power of overcoming fear. Alara's life blossomed in ways she had never imagined. She continued writing, her stories growing richer and more vivid with every passing day. Her collection of writings was eventually published in a small book that became a cherished keepsake for many in the town. Her journey showed everyone that the life they dreamed of was not locked behind perfection or brilliant ideas. It was built on the small, steady choices made each day. Years later, when asked about her transformation, Ilara would smile and say, "I learned that your mind may whisper doubts, but your actions speak louder. Don't let your thoughts control you. One small step taken every day can change your life and the lives of those around you." Her story spread beyond Briarwood, inspiring countless others to break free from the prison of overthinking. Alara became a beacon of hope for anyone who doubted their own potential. She proved that even in a world filled with uncertainties, consistency and courage could light the way to a brighter tomorrow. If this story inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more motivational journeys. Remember, the life you've always dreamed of is just one small action away. Don't let your mind control you. Take that step and change your life.